several ways to increase that NOI. One thing right off the bat that will increase it quite a bit is if you can add additional units. I know that sounds obvious, right? But you'd be surprised how many units, especially in a Class C property, how many units are being used for storage, for model units. Like I've seen 3 or 4 model units. There is no need. Like you should have no more than 1 model unit, and a lot of our properties, we don't even have a model unit. And then as far as the maintenance and the storage, I would say 80% of the stuff that's in there, guaranteed without even looking at it, is trash. They're just holding on to it for whatever reason. So those are units, right? That's $1,200, $1,500 per month that you could be collecting. And then another one here is leasing office. So on a couple properties, we've actually built out a leasing office. It made sense and took over those units. Adding washer and dryer hookups and also renting the equipment, that's huge. Residents love that. They love to not have to go to a laundry room. You want to make sure, you know, what the market looks like before you do that, but if it makes sense, go for it for sure. Garages, storage, covered parking, this stuff is great. Depends on the class of property, right? On Class A, we've noticed that garages, and you can't keep them. No matter how many you have, they're always occupied. We actually just closed on a Class A property in January, and we're building more garages. It already has some, but we're actually building some more. Fees, so a lot of fees, you'll notice, especially on these value add deals, they're just not being collected, right? So going in there and actually collecting the fees and charging certain fees, implementing bulk internet, that's been huge. You guys are not doing that at your properties, you need to be doing it. You can pretty much offer a better price to your residents that they can get retail and make a good chunk of money on it as well. I'm not gonna go through each one because I'm gonna run out of time, but like I said, email me and I can get you these slides. This is a quick case study. This is a deal we did in Augusta, Georgia, 104 units. We purchased it for $50,000 per unit. Our business plan was to come in and completely change the exterior, change the curb appeal, and then just do 25% of the interiors. We had a budget of $1 million in the CapEx. We knew exactly what we were doing from day one. Day one, we were on site implementing. We got it all done in 6 months. And then we sold the deal literally on day 365, like after the year 1 or 366. We sold that deal. That's what it looked like when we were done with it. Completely rebranded it, like I said, and changed the entire look and feel of it. We sold it for $104,000 per unit, so more than doubled the price and returned it over to our investors. Market helped a little bit, right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it didn't, but also the fact that we were able to implement and put that business plan to work right away helped us get out of there in 1 year. Some other before and afters, case studies that we've done, you know, just dramatically changing what the properties look like. And then, so I've talked about executing your business plan, right? So one, you've got to know exactly what your business plan is. Your team has got to know it. And then everybody, your property manager, everybody working on site has got to be on the same page, rowing in the same direction, right? So, and I'm talking about knowing exactly what you're going to charge for unrenovated units. If you're going to be doing renewals, you know, what you're going to be charging for your renovated units, obviously. And it's not just knowing this, right? It's making sure that everybody else knows this and that you're looking at the reports on a weekly basis and you're making sure that's what's being charged. Or if you can't fill the units, you know, do we need to adjust something? So constantly changing. You gotta know your renewal plan. You know, are you going to be renewing anybody? Or if you are, what the classic units, the partial upgrades, all that stuff. The other income, what other income are you targeting? What are you going to bring in? Are we doing that? You know, how's the covered parking looking? What's the occupancy on the covered parking? You know, the internet package. I talked about that already, right? But putting that into play right away. I mean, that's $30 to $40 per unit that you can be collecting right away. Savings on your expenses, so lowering payroll if you can. I don't highly suggest that, but I mean, if for any reason the property is paying too much or overstaffed, water conservation is huge. If you guys are not doing that on your older properties, you need to be doing it. You can save a ton of money. And then I talked about the CapEx plan, so making sure, one, everybody knows the plan. So that picture you see there, that's a pre-construction meeting. That was day one that we owned that property. We had our construction team on site, we had the property manager, we had ownership, everybody was there, and we went over the CapEx plan in detail. We went and saw everything we were gonna do. We decided where we're gonna place the dumpsters, what the schedule was gonna look like. And then usually what we do on that end is we come in, we fix any major components. So like if you've got roofs leaking, you've got boilers not working, we'll go in and make the existing residents happy, right? And they'll see the change right away. Then at the same time, we'll start changing the curb appeal and then slowly start working in the interior units. So it all kind of works together nicely. And that last point there is just talking about that kickoff meeting that I mentioned and getting everybody on the same page from day one. So how to be an amazing asset manager. I know I've talked about quite a bit of it now, but if you've never done it before, what I suggest is you find somebody to partner with that is a really good operator and has good asset management and systems, and that you can learn from them. And you've got a lot of that in this room and in Michael Blanc's program, so you should be able to find somebody like that. And then start to build a team around them, right? And start to learn the way they do it, and then start building your own team. Constantly evaluating what's working and what's not. You need to be able to question everything. If the property manager is telling you something, don't let them just tell you things. I am very data driven. Don't tell me that, gosh, I hear this all the time. Like somebody not renewing, they'll be like, oh, everybody's buying houses. Like, nobody's buying houses right now. Not nobody, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So, we will want to see the data. No, show me the report. I want to see exactly what they told you. And just things like that. Delinquency, we're constantly looking at our 30, 60, 90 day delinquency, and just make sure you question anything that's told. And then you got to know how to hold them accountable, right? Hold the whole team accountable, whether it's your internal asset management team or the on-site management team. If you've got to set deadlines, you've got to track whatever the action items are, and if they're constantly not getting things done, maybe it's time to make a change. And then that allows you to make adjustments when needed, right? And actually look at good data and make an educated decision on how to move forward. And you're gonna need a lot of that in the market we're in.